You're gonna love this. All those Disney fans.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, the show where we discuss movies, both old and new. Today, we've got a blast from the past, a movie that came back in the jolly old year of 2012, if any of you were alive back then. And Ajay, what is that movie that we are discussing?
We are discussing Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers.
Starring James Franco.
Yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens. We're just continuing with this James Franco streak.
For some reason.
Vanessa Hudgens, his wife, Rachel Korine.
Yes, Selena Gomez.
Ashley Benson.
Yes.
A few others.
Gucci Mane. He's in the movie.
Gucci Mane's in the movie, yeah.
And Ajay, can you please tell us, what is Spring Breakers about?
So, Spring Breakers, directed by Harmony Korine, documents four chicks in their college years who are upset about their hometown. They're upset that it's boring, that they're not able to do the things they want to do. So they go out and they have a party. They have a spring break party. Yeah. They go out in the South and they have a spring break party, and it gets off to the deep end because they get involved with drugs and, horrendous crimes.
And worst of all, James Franco.
Worst of all, James Franco is behind it. James Franco plays this rapper named Alien, but it's revealed sooner than later that he's also a drug overlord that makes his money through nefarious activities. And it's a great film. It's raunchy, not a pleasant experience to watch in the morning, but it is a fun film for all ages.
Seeing all this money makes my wet. Smell this. Makes my look bigger.
Yeah, it's some of the things you said, for sure. And Ajay, how do you feel personally about Spring Breakers?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed looking at it. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was a fun movie. There's a lot of sort of like narration that happens in the movie.
Yes.
And there's a lot of sort of montages that occur in the movie.
Yes.
And when you think about it or watch it like at face value, it's very easy to hate the movie because it's basically you're just watching rich people who are not rich people, but pretty people just do their thing, and they get tossed in the deep end by near the end of the movie. But I think when you sit with it and when you really like internalize it or process the movie, you sort of realize there's like a deeper, darker like tone that's being set here. Like obviously the cinematography is great. There's a lot of great visuals, but there's very much a deeper, darker, atmospheric kind of lens to this film that kind of predicted a lot of what we'd see on the internet after the movie was first released. So overall, I enjoyed it on a technical level. Yes, I can understand why people didn't like it, especially during that time, but I think in a lot of ways it kind of predicted the social media landscape that we're in right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I liked it on that level, and I think the acting was great. The acting was phenomenal. For what they were given. Obviously we'll get into the finer details of the movie. But I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
Spring Breakers. I have complicated feelings with Spring Breakers because on the one hand, at face value, it just feels like a very just debaucherous, hedonistic. You're just here for the TNA and just the mad cap craziness and debauchery that is all involved in this spring break documentation. But at the same time, I think there is a cynical kind of irony underneath the surface to it that I find very entertaining and very funny just in general. It is an incredibly entertaining watch, and Harmony Korine, I told you earlier, this movie is schizophrenically edited. It's mostly montage style. You just have montages of people going wild during spring break, getting turned up, and you'll just have voiceover, and oftentimes the voiceover is just them waxing poetically about how magical spring break is, and it's it's hilarious. I think when they get to Florida, you hear Selena Gomez on the phone with her grandmother leaving a message. She says, "I think we've really found ourselves here."
Hi, Grandma. The people here are so much fun. I want to come back again next year with you.
This place is beautiful. It's the most spiritual place I've ever been. But then the images you're seeing on screen are like dudes doing coke off someone's.
Yeah.
So it's so spiritual. I want to bring you here someday, Grandma. You just hear people like banging their heads to dubstep. It's so funny.
There's also that voicemail in which someone's leaving like a really great note, and you just hear like people like just shooting guns at them.
Yeah, Mom, it was really great. I think we found ourselves here. We finally got to see some other parts of the world.
Mansion.
It's such a strange movie. Definitely a movie not for everyone, and I can understand why many people do not like it, but I also understand why many people do seem to enjoy it, because I think there is a very interesting subtext that goes on with the movie. I guess kind of like a point where just enjoying these hedonistic pleasures, like when that goes off the deep end, when that gets dark and you get involved in something more nefarious, and I guess from the characters, the pleasures that they take kind of in that new lifestyle is legitimately quite interesting.
Yeah. You mentioned schizophrenically edited.
Yes.
I don't know if it was schizophrenically edited. I kind of disagree on that notion, on that part, because like when I think of schizophrenically edited, I think of Uncut Gems. Like that movie to me like really broke me in terms of how I view like schizophrenic editing, because I remember like leaving the theater after watching the movie. I'm like, my head is in a rush. I can't think properly. I need like a good 5-10 minutes to breathe. This film was not that for me. At times it felt very slow paced, because not that much happens in this movie, and for good reason. Until like like Act 2, Act 3, that's where it starts to really pick up. But in a lot of ways, it kind of, what I like about this movie is that Harmony Korine lets you breathe with the environment that you're in.
It does have a very dreamlike quality.
Right. And I think those montages really help, because like, yeah, obviously you look at it and it's easy to be like, oh my God, right? It's easy to say that, but in a lot of ways, there's more to it than just that. It's about the extravagance and how things can go awry if you're just so fully invested in that world, where you're not thinking coherently, or you're thinking in a way that may be hurtful to you or to the people you love. And I think in a lot of ways, Harmony Korine really understood that through directing this film. And yeah, at times it can feel a little bit tedious to really like watch the movie intently, or to really like enjoy it. But I do think that this is a film that kind of just like sticks with you in a lot of ways, and maybe multiple viewings may help, not hurt,
may hurt, may cause pain.
But I think in a lot of ways this is a movie where, I mean, I was very surprised to see, like, it feels as if Harmony Korine had a very sort of revelatory kind of experience while making it, because a lot of the things that he put on screen in 2012 are accurate to how people live their lives today on social media.
Live and conduct themselves. Yeah. The kind of extravagant party culture, I guess is how we can put it. I think James Franco as Alien, I think that character, he's kind of the physical manifestation of all these things. The when you see his home and it's just filled with, and his bed is just covered in like stacks of money, and he has guns all on the wall, and he's just screaming, "Look at my shit! This is the American dream right here!" He is very much the embodiment of all the things this movie is about. The glut of just things and the need for constant kind of stimulation. That's James Franco in his most honest role to date.
Andrew Tate watched James Franco play Alien. He's like, you know what? I'm going to base my entire personality around that guy.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I first saw James Franco as Alien. I'm like, oh my God, we've been dealing with this guy for the past few years.
I'll never forget it. He's super tall, bro, and like it's super intimidating when he has so many bodyguards around him. And he came in, I was so nervous, but when he stuck his hand out and smiled, I felt safe. Just the way he asserted himself, the way he talked, the way he taught me his way of life, the way he was fearless. I understand why there's a lot of men that want to listen to him. He's not Jesus Christ though, so he's not going to be perfect. I know that this guy's an influential man, and when I see this man, I know that God's using him. Regardless of how he feels it, I know that God is using Andrew Tate to mend or bend to the will of what God's will is.
Yeah, we've been dealing with guys like this for the past couple of years now, and it is simultaneously a snapshot of the 2012s, and also in a way it's kind of watching it, you think to yourself, wow, the more stuff changes, the more it kind of stays the same, doesn't it? I like the opening montage where you
With
just
Skrillex
you hear
played.
Skrillex brought me back to this comfortable time where the only thing I had to worry about was my kill streak in Black Ops 2. It was beautiful.
That is a great song, by the way, and I feel like Skrillex got a lot of hate back in the day for songs like that. But that's still
I
a
like
great
Skrillex.
song. Yeah, it's a great song. But even the soundtrack is amazing. I mean,
It's a
Lights
good-
by Ellie Goulding.
good
There was like a
soundtrack.
Nicki Minaj song that was being played when they were trying to like take over some restaurant or something.
They play a Britney Spears song on the piano
Yeah,
while
Britney Spears over time.
while the girls dance with machine guns and ski masks.
I think one of them like fed James Franco a machine gun, and you just see him like kind of like and like sucking on it.
Yeah, there is that wonderful one of the most romantic scenes I've ever seen put into a movie where James Franco fillets the barrel of a gun, and it's just so brave.
I mean, it's
So beautiful.
That's an Academy. I mean, apparently A24 lobbied the Academy for James Franco's performance to be nominated for this film. Like, there was a real push for James Franco to be nominated for Alien.
I can't believe that they went with the Disaster Artist and not Spring Breakers. It's simultaneously surprising, but makes a lot of sense that this is an A24 movie, because you see that A24 logo pop up, and in 2012, I don't know what else they were doing, what else they were
It was a
putting out.
relatively new company. back
Yeah,
then.
no,
this
and
was like the first film that really, where people viewed them as like, oh my god, this is like the avant-garde art house production company, and now we sort of like realize, oh, like that's all just a sham, but. It is. So I'm sorry. Like, you can find artistic stuff outside A24 as well. But anyways,
true. But they
was
bring
the
stuff to the
lane.
mainstream.
that was the lane they went with
Yeah.
with this release of the movie. And I think in a lot of ways, it's aged extremely well. I was very surprised at how well it's aged. Because, again, the atmospheric vibes, the fact that, you know, you just see montage of just
after
like
montage
of
after
these-
montage.
of these like party scenes, and how over time, like, the more it starts playing, the more grossed out you get by
Yeah,
it,
the
you know?
more gratuitous it becomes, and that's a word I will use to describe this movie. It is blatantly gratuitous, and I think that is so on purpose. This feeling of just so much stimuli just hitting your eyes, assaulting it, never ending. In a way, it makes me think it's like a modern exploitation film. Like, it's so wild. Like, there's never a moment where something isn't hitting your eyes. I just remember there's one scene. It's probably the most quiet scene in the entire movie. It's just the three girls, and they're just in a pool at the hotel, just talking, just like, I love this place. I love you guys. I'm so glad that we're friends. It's Selena Gomez just kind of just speaking from her heart, but the entire time the camera is constantly dipping under the water to look at them like lecherously.
Yeah.
It's a lecherous, gross movie, but I think it's all on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, you know you're a good director when you can film a scene and it's not romantic at all.
Yeah,
And
no.
in fact, it's very much horrifying.
It's terrifying.
I mean, when they start having that three-way in the pool, you're just like, this is gross. This is not romantic at all, and that's purposefully done.
Yeah.
It is a purposefully done horror-inducing scene.
Yeah, no, that's really what the movie kind of becomes over time, is just, it's straight up horrific from the moment we meet James Franco, there's an entirely new vibe to the entire movie. I do remember at the time of this movie coming out, it got controversy because you have very well-known like Disney actresses, Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez, and they're in this movie where they're dressing provocatively and they're partying and they're drinking. But what I find funny is the second James Franco shows up, Selena Gomez leaves the movie.
Yeah.
She's the most sensible out of the four girls. The second he shows up, she's like, I want to leave. I don't want to be here. And then she does.
Yeah. So, like, why was there controversy even though she left?
It's because no one saw the movie. They saw a movie with women in it in bikinis, and they said, no! Stop this sin! That was the controversy.
Yeah. But I mean, I think in a lot of ways, like we mentioned the fact that they get into nefarious activities. I think a huge sense of that is that you need to throw logic out of the movie. Like when you watch this movie, you need to throw logic out of the window, because there are times where they break into weddings or they'll break into restaurants.
Yeah, they break into a restaurant.
Money,
yeah.
And you're just like, isn't there law enforcement? Like, shouldn't the police be involved? Or like, I understand, they're wearing masks. It's hard in the year 2012 to like find people who are wearing masks, but not hard enough where you don't need to have police involved. Like, I think in a lot of ways you need to throw logic out the wazoo, because again, a lot of times, like, and especially in this movie, the idea or the concept of time, we don't know. We don't know how long they've been in this spring break. It feels like they've been there for a few days.
It feels infinite.
It feels infinite. It feels as if it's weeks.
Like how long is the average spring break? It's a weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
and the movie feels as though it's documenting several months as they are kind of integrated into this drug lord lifestyle. The thought I kept having in my head while watching it is, this feels like a cutscene from Grand Theft Auto. This feels like I'm watching someone play Grand Theft Auto, because it's so blatantly over the top and gratuitous and colorful. It relishes so much in the grime and the excess, and I just find it, you can't turn away from it. It's so enrapturing to watch.
It shows like the grimy underbelly of Miami. In a lot of ways, like,
that's just all Miami.
Yeah, I mean, like when you listen to Nas's Omatic, which is a great album, like you sort of see the grimy underbelly of New York City, or like when you read a Bret Easton Ellis novel, you sort of see the grimy underbelly of LA. In a lot of ways, I was like, this feels like a Bret Easton Ellis sort of novel, or like a Didion novel, because it really shows like the, as you said, gratuitousness, but it really shows you like the darkness and depravity of this environment, because the environment is a character. Like the city of Miami is a character.
Is a dirty, low down piece of shit character. That's why it's so funny when Selena Gomez is talking about, this is such a magical place, and you just see them just going through the streets of, like, it's just Florida.
Yeah, it's trash.
This is the most spiritual place you could find. We're sorry, Florida. We're sure you're fine.
We're sure you're fine.
Disney.
Yeah, we love Disney on this planet. We're
love
Disney
Disney.
dads.
Yeah,
we're
Disney adults.
We're Disney adults. That's what we do on this pod. This podcast is sponsored by
the Mandalorian.
By the Mandalorian.
By Baby Yoda.
By Baby Yoda. Yeah.
Baby Yoda loves Spring Breakers.
What other Disney IPs can we throw out there?
I don't know. Moana 2.
Use 10% off. Use Ajay and Nathan for 10% off your next ticket price for Moana 2.
For your Disney Fast Pass to cut the line.
Yes. So I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
safe to say this was a fun movie, and this is a film that like kind of sticks with you after you watch it.
Whether you like it or not, it does.
Yeah,
I think
this is the Freddy Got Fingered of the art house movies.
It's a movie called Freddy Got Fingered. I know what the reference is, but you could have called it cheese sandwiches. You could have called it dead animal carcass. You could have called. I mean, there's a lot of things. Gourd adventure. I don't know.
Yeah, we could have called it.
Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. That might be a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
but there's an admirable quality to this film that I think at the end of the day, it has heart. And the characters really, I mean, this is not a flip. I'm praising the movie. It has heart, and there is a tone that's being there in the film.
I don't disagree with you that it has heart. I don't disagree with that. It's just a weird way to describe the movie.
Yeah, it's a weird way to describe like a Girls Gone Wild art house film.
Yes.
But there is heart, and I do feel as if, it's easy to be like, oh my god, Harmony Korine just got Disney women just to market his film. That's not the right way to view or lens this film.
No.
It is a film that really shows the darkness of a media environment that really incentivizes people to do crazy things.
Yes, to be the loudest and the worst person you can possibly be. Like it's I really like how over the course of the movie, the four girls we start with, they kind of just slowly leave as it goes along. Selena Gomez immediately recognizes things are going to get weird and gross and I want to leave. Leaves. Rachel Korine leaves after getting shot in a drive-by.
When they took that bullet out from her body, that was crazy.
That was so gross and terrible. And then she decides, maybe I don't want to be here. And then you're just left with the other two who are so fully on board with this madness that they go as far as to assault a drug compound and kill everyone there. It is so wild. James Franco does nothing in that shootout because the second he hits the dock, he gets shot in the head immediately, and I laughed so hard.
You know what this film reminded me of?
What?
Blink Twice. I feel like there are a lot of similarities between this movie and Blink Twice. I wouldn't be shocked if Zoe Kravitz viewed this film and was like, you know what, I can play off this. I can play off the themes and ideas and do so in a much more, like, I wouldn't say safe way, but in a much more authentic way of my own original vision.
I can see where you're coming from with that.
So overall, those are the films that like I think of when I think of I still think about that movie. Like I still think about Blink Twice after watching it nearly like 5-6 months after its initial release. I still think about the movie. In a lot of ways, I still think about this movie as well. It's been, 12, 13 years since the release of this movie?
Yeah.
And people are still having conversations about it, and I think that's the mark of a good director.
Yeah. No, Harmony Korine is definitely a very experimental, very different kind of guy. This is the only movie of his that I've watched fully, the entire thing. I am familiar with his other movies. They all just look insane.
There's that Travis Scott film where it's shot in infrared or something.
Aggro Drift. Yeah, he has another movie, Baby Assassins. I think that's his next movie. Beach Bum. That, I'd say that's probably his most normal film. And then Gummo.
Gummo. I've never seen Gummo.
All I really know about
that's like a name of a 6ix9ine album.
I just remember just watching clips of it, and there's a scene where a kid eats spaghetti in a bathtub, and just saying that sentence makes me nauseous, and that's all I really know about Gummo.
There were reports that Emma Roberts was supposed to be in this movie. How do you think she would fare in it?
I don't know. I don't think she's a really good actress.
Yeah.
I think everyone else is a very good actor in this movie. Even James Franco, even though I know he's not acting.
Yeah.
It's just him. I remember I did watch this movie previously when I was in like high school or middle school, just because we were two teenage boys. We thought, this movie's got in it. Let's watch it. And then we watched the whole thing and we're just kind of like, is violence innate in all men? And does it just come out in different forms? Is partying a form of violence?
Is partying a form of sadness, leaving the body in bloodstream as we indulge in these vices that we know are tempting and destructive?
These violent delights have violent ends. After that movie, our frontal cortex like completely burst into flames.
Yeah, see, my friends and I, we watched White Chicks starring Wayans Brothers, and
that's
we thought,
a fantastic movie.
And we thought, we'd see the same things you did, which is a bunch of TNA, but it wasn't, and we were laughing the entire time, and that ended our middle school sleepover.
White Chicks is a good middle school sleepover movie.
Sleeping over playing COD and watching white chicks. That's how we do.
I miss those days.
Anyways, overall, I not to use the word overall again, but I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
Wrapping up our thoughts on Spring Breakers.
I really enjoyed it, and the soundtrack is a character. The city of Miami is a character, and the soundtrack is a character, because the soundtrack is very crucial in this movie. With Britney Spears' Over Time being played, Ellie Goulding's Lights to cap off the film, the way that it intros with Skrillex. It's a eye-popping movie.
Eye-popping for sure. It is such a different, unique kind of beast of a movie that, like you said, will stick with you for a while. It is not for everyone. It is definitely not made to be accessible for everyone, but I think that's what makes it kind of a special little treat if you can get past what's on the surface and see what's kind of bubbling beneath. I think it is a movie that will stick with you and has a lot more going for it than what is on the surface level.
Yeah, it is like when you walk down the candy aisle, there's like that one candy with like bright packaging. And then, it has all these mix of like colors. You know it's bad for you, but you indulge it anyways. And then you eat it and you realize that, oh, there's something to it.
Yeah.
That's Spring Breakers in a lot.
That's Spring Breakers. Watch it too many times, you'll get diabetes.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I enjoyed the film.
Yes.
And those are our thoughts on the movie. Stick around for the TNA, but watch it for the story and for the debaucherous lifestyle that is being exhibited on screen, because it is a great watch. And it's it harkens back to like, films that we watched before, like American Psycho or Blink Twice, where, it's horror inducing, but there's something to it that just makes you just enjoy it. To wrap up our thoughts, Nathan.
We did.
We did?
We did.
That's our cutaway? All right, no worries.
We did wrap up our thoughts.
Would you recommend this to like a person who's never seen Harmony Korine? Would this be your intro film?
This would probably, with my very little knowledge of Harmony Korine, I think this is kind of you get a good idea of what the guy is all about. He's wild and experimental. He is loud. He is in your face, but I don't think he does that without a purpose. And so, yes, I would recommend this to people who are interested in Harmony Korine. If nothing, this movie makes me want to see more of Harmony Korine and see just how much more terrifying he can get.
Yeah, I want to see other Ellie Goulding songs that are in his films.
I want to see his Travis Scott infrared nightmare that hurts my eyes to look at.
It's going to be crazy to watch that film. But anyways, guys, those are our thoughts on the movie.
On Spring Breakers.
Let us know how you felt about it. Did you love it? Did you enjoy it? Do you think you would recommend it to those you love?
Yeah. Would
To
you
your
watch
grandma?
it? Would you watch it with Grandma?
Yeah.
How would she feel?
How would
Was
she
she a party animal back in the day?
Yeah.
Got turned up listening to Frank Sinatra. Got my in the speakeasy, boy.
Back when they didn't give, rights to other people. Anyways, I think that's it.
That's it.
All right,
That's
bye.
it for us.